Hey film fans, welcome to CinePro.
Allah.
Hadi birlikte. Hadi birlikte derim.
Your ultimate hub for all movie recaps, from heartwarming classics to the latest blockbusters. The series The Land of Love begins with Denise, as she gets ready in the morning to travel, quickly gathering her things, taking her bag, and leaving. She passes by her sister Seema, who doesn't seem very interested in her, and then her older sister Ansley talks to her, puts on the necklace Denise had been looking for and couldn't find. Ansley is surprised that Denise decided so suddenly to travel with her boyfriend Erhan, especially since Denise has only known him for a few months, and it's unusual for him to suddenly decide to take her and introduce her to his family. Denise tells her that she sees Erhan as the ideal man and wants to travel with him to Cambodia to meet his family. Ever since she met him at the hospital where she works as a doctor, she felt he was the man of her dreams, and that's why she's excited to travel with him and be introduced to his family. Denise says goodbye to her sister Ansley and leaves, going down to Erhan, who is waiting for her outside. They are both very happy, and Erhan ties her sneaker laces for her. At that moment, her sister Seema sees them from the balcony, and it's clear that she feels jealous or upset. Denise gets in the car with Erhan, curious to meet his family. We then move to Erhan's family. At that time, his grandfather Mr. Hakim is with his wife Henzi, taking the family for a walk in the market where everyone respects him greatly. We see Erhan's mother, Mrs. Ginul, with her two sons, Jamal and Jihan. At that moment, the bodyguard Bermando informs Ms. Hakim that his grandson Erhan is coming by plane, and he learns that Erhan booked 2 tickets and is coming with a girl, and also booked a hotel room. Mr. Hakim is surprised and orders Bermando to go to the airport to pick up Erhan and bring him to meet him personally. Then Mr. Hakim continues on his way and goes to Mr. Ashraf's house. Mr. Ashraf has a big family and is Mr. Hakim's business partner. After greeting, Mr. Ashraf asks to speak with him privately. He brings up the topic of his daughter Lal and reminds him of his promise that Erhan would marry his daughter. He says the marriage has been delayed. Lal is attached to Erhan, and it's better to know if Mr. Hakim will go back on his word now. Mr. Hakim assures him that he still stands by his promise, and that tonight Erhan himself will propose to Lal. When Lal hears this, she is happy and excited because she has loved Erhan since they were young. At the same time, Erhan and Denise arrive at the airport, where bodyguards Bermando and Furat greet Erhan. Denise sees Furat bending to kiss Erhan's hand, but Erhan stops him and tells him to shake hands normally. Bermando tells Erhan that his grandfather urgently wants to see him. Erhan asks Denise to go with Furat, who will take her to her hotel room, while he goes to meet his grandfather and will return to her later. Denise is a bit surprised by the way the guards treat Erhan, and how much they respect him. She gets in the private car with Furat, who takes her to her, and he takes her to the hotel room. We go to Mr. Hakim's house, and see Jamal, Erhan's brother, and his wife Rosa. We also see his brother Shihan and his disabled son Kaan. We notice that the relationship between them is not good. At that time, Erhan arrives and kisses his grandfather's hand and asks him about the reason for summoning his disability from the airport in this way. Hakim tells him that he had to bring him to confirm the rumor he heard and asks him if he is in a relationship with a strange woman and brought her with him. Erhan tells him that this is true and that he brought his lover with him to introduce them to her. At that time, Denise is with Furat, and he takes her to her very luxurious hotel room. Furat tells her that he will wait outside her room in case she needs anything. Denise is surprised to find that he really is waiting outside to serve her if needed. Back to Hakim, he is talking to his grandson Erhan, and the conversation gets heated. Erhan insists that he does not love Lal, and will never propose to her because he sees her as a sister, nothing more. Janul, his mother, intervenes and argues with him, saying it's in the family's best interest for him to marry Lal. Erhan is not convinced, and says he won't do anything he doesn't want to do. Hakim gets angry, and tells him his final decision is for Erhan to propose to Lal, but Erhan tells them he brought the girl he wants to marry. Denise and they can either accept her into the family or lose him forever. Mr. Hakim kicks him out, and Erhan leaves. His brother Jamal follows him, trying to convince him for the sake of the family, but Erhan doesn't listen and leaves. Meanwhile, Denise is on the phone with her sister Ansley, still surprised by everything that has happened since they arrived at the airport, but she is optimistic and hopeful that meeting Erhan's family will go well. After Ansley hangs up, she opens the door to find their cousin Tufan, and she is shocked because she didn't know he had been released from prison. Tufan enters the apartment without permission, asking where his cousin Denise is because he wants to see her. When Seema tells him Denise is with her boyfriend traveling, Tufan gets angry and yells because he loves her and thinks she belongs to him. Ansley threatens to call the police, so Tufan gets scared, leaves, and vows this matter will not end well. Back to Janul, Erhan's mother. She calls Lal and lies, telling her Erhan is sick today and they will postpone their visit. Lal is a bit disappointed because she had gotten ready for the visit, and tells her father, Mr. Ashraf, and her brother Shinayan that Janul called and said Erhan is sick. Her father comforts her, assuring her that if it doesn't happen today, it will happen tomorrow or the day after. All this time, Denise is in her room waiting for Erhan to come to her, feeling bored and restless, so she leaves the room. Farhat tells her he must accompany and guard her as ordered, so they go out together to stroll around the tourist village. Denise then sits at a hotel restaurant table, where Janul comes to sit with her, and introduces herself. Denise is very excited to finally meet her, but Janul shocks her by saying her son is engaged to another girl. Denise is stunned as Janul tells her she will give her money to compensate for the time she spent with Erhan, and that she has booked her a return ticket so she can catch her flight. Janul directly asks her to leave her son's life for the family's sake to avoid conflicts with Mr. Ashraf's family. Denise gets up without responding and leaves, clearly shocked by her first meeting with Erhan's mother. At the same time, Hakim is scolding Jihan, Erhan's older brother, blaming him for being lazy in managing the business and not fulfilling his duties as the eldest brother. Mr. Hakim feels Jihan is not up to the responsibility, which upsets Jihan, so he leaves. Hasi, his grandfather's wife, follows him and calls out to him, trying to calm him down when he gets agitated, and tells him not to raise his voice while he insults his grandfather so that no one hears. From their conversation, we understand that there is a secret relationship between them, and that's why Hans asks him to endure this treatment until they achieve what they want. At that moment, Jihan calms down and is convinced. Meanwhile, Farhad calls Erhan and tells him that his mother, Janul, met Denise first, and then Denise went to the airport to travel. Erhan rushes to the airport and catches Denise before she boards the plane. He tries to stop her, and since Denise is upset, he tries to explain to her that it was his mother who promised Mr. Ashraf that he would marry his daughter, but he loves Denise and went against his mother's wishes and refused to propose to her daughter. He surprises Denise by proposing to her in the middle of the airport, kneeling down and assuring her that she is the one he loves and doesn't want anyone else. Denise accepts when she feels he is sincere, and he promises her that he will always be by her side, and they are both happy. But at that moment, someone from the airport calls Sinan, Mr. Ashraf's son, and tells him that he just saw Erhan proposing to another woman, and he sends him a video. When Sinan sees the video, he gets very angry because Erhan broke his promise to his family. He goes to his father Ashraf, who is sitting with Lal, tells them what happened, and shows them the video. When Lal sees it, she is shocked and collapses. Mr. Ashraf starts thinking about what to do and how to take revenge on Erhan's family. That night, late at night, Bermando wakes up Mr. Hakim and tells him that the orchards and fields are burning. Indeed, all the crops are burning due to arson. At that moment, Mr. Haim realizes that Ashraf's family has started the war. He asks his two grandchildren, Jahan and Jamal, how they will respond to this blow. He tells them that he will know how to take the appropriate revenge. The next morning, Erhan is sitting with Denise at the hotel restaurant, when Bermando comes and tells them they both must meet Mr. Haim immediately. They are surprised that he wants to see them together. They go to meet him and see the fields after they have all burned down. Mr. Haim tells them that he won't let Ashraf's blow pass without a response, and that he will retaliate at the right time. Erhan wants to take revenge as soon as possible, but his grandfather assures him that their revenge won't be through violence, but by the two of them getting married out of spite for Ashraf's family. They are surprised when he tells them he agrees to their marriage and that their engagement will be the next day, and the wedding will be as soon as possible. This is his final decision. On the same day, Anzali and Seema arrive at the airport, and Denise goes with Erhan to receive them. We see Seema secretly calling her cousin Tufan and telling him that Denise's engagement to Erhan is today. That night, the engagement party happens, and we see Seema contacting her cousin Tufan again and telling him the location and that the wedding will be the next day. Tufan is shocked because he is in love with Denise and can't allow anyone else to take her from him. He swears that the wedding will not happen. The next day is the wedding day. We see Denise leaving her room in the hotel and asking Farad to fix her shoe because the heel broke. She returns to the room with her sister Anzali, and then the door knocks. Anzali opens the door and finds Tufan in front of her. They both panic and are very scared. Tufan threatens them and yells at Denise, telling her that the wedding must not happen. Anzali grabs a knife, threatens him, and injures his hand, forcing him to leave the room. But Tufan warns Denise that he won't let her marry anyone else but him and leaves. Meanwhile, Lal is devastated and crying because she can't bear the thought of Erhan marrying another woman. She has dreamed her whole life of being his wife, and she's dying of jealousy and is very emotional. Jahan is talking to Hans, his grandfather's wife, who tells him that he must behave well after his brother Erhan's marriage, so that the family business management will be in his hand. He must find a way to keep his brother Jamal away, because his grandfather favors him. Hans gets closer to him, and at that moment, Jamal sees them together. He is shocked to discover their relationship. He yells at them and curses them. Jahan follows Jamal and tries to stop him, begging him not to tell anyone. Jamal is very angry, but at that moment, Erhan calls them. They both pretend nothing is wrong, and Erhan asks them to come because the wedding is about to start. Jamal tells Jahan that he will deal with him after the wedding and leaves. Jahan and Hans are both very scared. Denise leaves her hotel room and goes down the stairs to Erhan, who is waiting for her with the wedding procession. She decides to hide the issue with her cousin Tufan, so as not to ruin the wedding. They get in the car and leave. At Mr. Ashraf's house, he is shocked to find his daughter Lal unconscious in her room because she tried to harm herself. They panic and call for someone to get an ambulance. He finds the note Lal wrote, saying she did this because she can't live her life without Erhan. We go to the wedding at Mr. Haim's house. Jamal is at the wedding, preoccupied with what he saw. His brother's betrayal with his grandfather's wife. His wife, Rosa, notices he is distracted and asks if he is okay. He assures her he is fine but has something important to do after the wedding. The bride and groom appear amid applause, and the wedding ceremony begins. Afterwards, they dance together, with Jamal's brother and his wife Rosa dancing beside them. Hans tells Jahan that she will handle things and find a solution to their predicament. At that moment, we see Khan's in a distant place aiming a rifle at the person dancing with Denise. He shoots at him and hits him, but the surprise is that the person who was dancing with Denise is Samal, who switched places with his brother Erhan. Denise is shocked when she finds him falling dead, and everyone gathers around him in a state of shock. At that very moment, his wife Rosa goes into labor from the shock and is about to give birth. They rush Samal to the hospital, and at the same time his wife is about to deliver. They take both of them in together, side by side in the hospital. Rosa, crying, begs him not to leave her and to wait to see his son. They are separated and both taken into the operating rooms. Samal is in critical condition, and the doctors are trying to save him, while at the same time Rosa is giving birth, screaming his name. Unfortunately, at that moment, Samal dies at the same time his son is born. The doctor comes out to inform them of the death, and his mother can't believe it, collapsing and screaming, blaming Denise for everything that happened, saying she is the reason her son died, and that she brings bad luck. They try to calm her down, but she has a nervous breakdown. At that moment, Anzal takes Denise with her, and they leave the hospital. We see him trying to hold himself together after the death of his grandson Samal, but at that time, Rosa locks herself in the room with her husband Samal's body, and refuses to open the door for anyone. She holds her newborn son and tells him that his father is sleeping now, and that they will wait until he wakes up. She is in denial and can't believe he is dead, and won't raise their son with her. The family is forced to postpone the burial to the next day, and this is Mr. Haim's decision. The next morning, she agrees to open the door, and allows them to bury her husband Samal. Indeed, Samal is buried that day. At the same time, Anzal is with her sister Denise in the hotel room, trying to convince her that after what happened, Erhan's family will never accept her among them. But Denise doesn't want to believe it, and thinks Erhan will definitely come to her, as she has no fault in what happened. She cries and says she is sure Erhan will come for her, and that she will wait. We see Ms. Hakim talking to the police investigator, accusing Ashraf's family, but the officer tells him there is no evidence, and that they will check the cameras and footage. However, he informs them that they have a suspect, and shows them photos of Tufan, saying he is Denise's cousin, is known to be obsessed with her, follows her everywhere, and some people even heard him threatening that he would get rid of Erhan and not allow this marriage to happen. The family is shocked when they hear this, and Janail tells her son Erhan that her heart always felt Denise was behind this. Even Erhan himself is shocked, so he goes to Denise in the hotel room. Denise hugs him, thinking he finally came for her, but is surprised when he yells at her for hiding the issue of her cousin Tufan, and that he was stalking her. Denise tries to defend herself, telling him she didn't tell him that Tufan came to her before the wedding because she didn't want to ruin it, and she begs him to believe her because she didn't know this would happen. But Erhan refuses, leaves her, and walks. Denise cries, unable to believe Erhan would abandon her like this. We see Erhan later in the car, angry and seemingly reconsidering, feeling regret for leaving Denise. That's why we see him later entering his family's house with Denise. And we understand he went back for her and brought her with him. Janelle, his mother, asks what brought this girl here, and wants to kick her out, but Erhan says she is his wife, and she will stay where he is. At that moment, everyone is shocked because they consider Denise responsible for Samal's death, especially Rosa, Samal's wife, who is angry with her and feels Samal died because of her, saying if it weren't for the wedding, none of this would have happened. But Arhan assures her Denise has no fault and there's no need to direct their anger at her. Arhan surprises them by saying his marriage to Denise won't be a real marriage, and he won't touch her until they find the criminal. Denise looks at him in disbelief that he said that, but Janelle continues talking about Denise, saying she is bad luck, and her son Samal died because of her. Rosa wants Mr. Hakim to kick her out, but Mr. Hakim says he won't kick anyone out, and that Denise is now a member of the family. Later, when they are alone, Denise talks to Arhan, surprised by his decision, but Arhan yells at her saying he makes decisions for the family's best interest. Denise gets upset, feeling he is marginalizing her, but he tells her it's his decision and leaves. After a while, the maid comes to take Denise to her room, as ordered by her mother-in-law Janelle. Denise is surprised when the maid takes her to a room below, among the servants' rooms. She is surprised she will stay in this room and not in her husband Arhan's room. So she decides to confront her mother-in-law and tells her she knows she gave her the servants' room because she doesn't accept her in the family, but she doesn't want their relationship to be bad and tries to convince her she is sad about what happened. But Janelle tells her she is the last person she would share her grief with and that her marriage to Arhan will only last for a short time, because every time Arhan looks at her he will remember his brother died because of her. She brings out the divorce papers and asks Denise to sign them if she has any dignity. Denise feels insulted, takes the divorce papers, leaves, and goes down the stairs wanting to leave the house. But Farhat stops her because those are his orders. At that moment she gets a call from Enzil, answers, and hides what she is going through, telling her she is happy in the house, got a big room, and is comfortable there, then ends the call. But her sister Enzil feels she is hiding something, and indeed we see Denise crying at that moment. When Arhan returns home later, he asks about Denise and finds out his mother gave her the servants' room. He is surprised by his mother's behavior but doesn't say anything to her. He goes down to Denise's room, tells her he just found out what happened, takes her by the hand and goes upstairs with her. In front of his mother, he defiantly says Denise is his wife and will stay with him in his room. He takes her upstairs and tells her she will sleep on the bed while he sleeps in the side room, because of the vow he made to his family. He tells her their marriage will remain unreal until they find the criminal. Denise notices a wound on his hand and wants to treat it, reminding him she is a doctor and his wound shouldn't get infected. She brings first aid and starts to bandage his wound. But after a while they have an argument when Denise tells him there's no need to look for Tufan himself and he should let the police handle it. Arhan gets angry, saying the one who died is his brother and he will take revenge. He also reminds her that Samal was dancing with her in his place at the wedding and was probably the target at that moment, dying in his place. Denise then asks him if he feels guilty for deciding to marry her, and when Arhan doesn't answer, Denise understands his answer from his silence. She leaves him and goes into the side room, and we see her crying alone. Meanwhile, Arhan leaves the room, and during this time we see Tufan going to introduce himself to Sinan, the son of Mr. Ash. He tells him that their enemy is mutual and it would be better if they cooperate, as he might be able to offer them useful services. After that, Sinan takes Tufan to meet his father Ashraf, and Tufan tells him that he wants to kidnap his relative Denise and leave the country. Mr. Ashraf agrees to help him, and says he also wants revenge on Arhan after his daughter Lal tried to harm herself. As for Arhan, he returns late at night and finds Denise still awake. He asks her to go sleep on the bed and says he'll sleep on the couch in the other room. It's clear that Denise is upset with him. Then we move to Mr. Hakim's room with his wife Hanzi, and she brings up the topic of inheritance. She learns from him that he will let Arhan manage the family business after him because he considers Jihan not responsible enough. This of course is against what Hanzi wants, so she tries to convince Mr. Hakim not to rush his decision. She puts him to bed, sends a message to Jihan to meet her, and goes to him. She asks him to stay strong in the coming period and show his grandfather that he is responsible. But Jihan, who is drinking, replies that he won't do anything. Suddenly, Hanzi asks him if he planned the death of Jamal's brother. He looks at her, surprised by such a question, and yells at her. Hanzi silences him and says it was just a question. Then he asks her if she did it, but she quickly denies having any hand in it and says she could never do such a thing. She tries to get him to focus on their goal, asking him to stop drinking and be strong before his grandfather writes his will. She leaves him and goes. The next day, Denise doesn't find Arhan in his bed because he is in the room of Rosa, Jamal's deceased brother's wife, holding her baby and checking on her. After a while, Lal comes to the house to offer condolences and checks on Arhan without prior notice. Denise sees Lal with Arhan, and Arhan tries to be kind to her and assures her that he always sees her as a sister. He introduces his wife Denise to Lal. Lal extends her hand to greet Denise, who shakes her hand despite knowing that Lal loves her husband. Afterwards, Lal offers her condolences to Arhan, and Denise is surprised by Lal's appearance and her words, which hint that she was always close to Arhan and couldn't leave him at a time like this. Denise can't stand her words and goes to the kitchen for a drink, and Lal follows her, provocatively telling her that she knows Arhan better than she does since they were kids. Denise replies saying she understands her games and won't let her come between her and Arhan. Lal arrogantly tells her that someone like her doesn't belong in this family and that she took her place, but the time will come and things will be corrected. Arhan comes in at that moment, so they hide the tension between them. Then they hear the voice of Mr. Ashraf at the gate, yelling because his daughter Lal came without his knowledge. They go out to see what he wants, and Ashraf orders his daughter to come with him. Lal obeys and leaves, and before Ashraf leaves, he warns Mr. Hakim not to disrespect his family while they are in mourning. The next day, Mr. Hakim calls Arhan and asks him to come to the company. Arhan asks Denise for permission, and goes. In the office, Mr. Hakim shows him security camera footage where Tufan appears entering the wedding venue, which is proof that Tufan is the criminal who killed Jamal. He tells Arhan he won't give the footage to the police, and that they will find Tufan themselves. Meanwhile, Denise returns home and calls her sister Anzali, who tells her they are traveling and will return that day. Denise decides to go see them before they leave the hotel and travel. When Seema finds out Denise is coming, she goes out and calls her cousin Tofan to tell him the news. Back to Denise, she wants to leave the house and the guards allow her on the condition that they accompany her. Denise leaves and gets into the car, but there's traffic, so she decides to get out and walk the rest of the way. At that moment, Seema receives a message from Tofan which her sister Anzali sees. Anzali confronts her with the message and is shocked to realize Seema told Tofan where they were staying. Anzali gets angry at her. Seema breaks down and confesses, and Anzali tries to call Denise to warn her, but her phone is off. Meanwhile, Denise is walking in the market, and because of the crowd, Bermondo loses track of her while following her. Suddenly, Tofan appears, puts a drugged handkerchief on her, and takes her away. When Bermondo can't find Denise, he goes to her sister Anzali's hotel room and learns she hasn't arrived yet. He calls Arhan and tells him what happened. Arhan rushes to the hotel and finds out that Seema told Tofan Denise was on her way. At that time, Denise wakes up to find herself with Tofan. Tofan gets a call from Seema, answers, and assures her Denise is with him. We see that Seema is talking to him while Arhan and Anzali are next to her, listening to the call. Seema asks what he will do with Denise, and he says he will take her to a place where no one will find them. Arhan recognizes Seema's voice in the call and decides to search around the river before it's too late. They drive off and call Bermondo, who says he was able to pinpoint Tofan's location because someone saw him. But when Arhan and his men arrive, they don't find him and guess that he moved and probably took a boat on the river. Indeed, at that time, Tofan is taking Denise with him on the boat. Denise tries to untie her hands without him noticing. Tofan tells her they will disappear for a while and get married, and no one will be able to stop them this time. At the same time, Arhan and his men are searching everywhere around the river and the marina. Tofan reaches the shore with Denise, takes her out, but Denise pushes him and runs away. He chases her, catches her, and threatens to kill her if she doesn't obey. At that moment, Arhan appears, hits him, and grabs the gun from his hand. Denise begs Arhan not to commit a crime. At that moment, the police arrive, intervene, and arrest Tofan. Arhan reassures Denise that she's okay, and her sister Anzali arrives and hugs her. Denise returns with Arhan to their room and tries not to make him upset because she went out alone, claiming she feels isolated in the house and none of his family talks to her. Arhan tells her she doesn't listen, which causes their problems, and without thinking, he says it seems his mother Janul was right, and they rushed into marriage. Denise is shocked and decides to take out the divorce papers and sign them. She knows that his mother gave her this divorce paper, that she carried out her wish and signed it, and she leaves without listening to his response. Outside, she passes by Janul, who signals to the guards to open the gate and let her out. Denise leaves, feeling humiliated, and walks away. Arhan, on the other hand, grabs the divorce paper, upset with his mother, and goes out to confront her about what she did, asking her for the last time not to interfere between him and his wife. Meanwhile, Denise returns to the hotel and talks to her sister Seema, confronting her about what she did, and telling her that she put up with her actions for years, that she was always jealous and tried to hurt her for no reason, and wants to know why she resents her so much. She yells at her, and their sister Anzali comes out because of the noise. Denise tells them she got divorced, leaves them and goes to her room. At that time, Arhan gets a call from the police investigator, who tells him that Tufan claims Denise went with him of her own will, and that he didn't kidnap her. The police investigator then enters the interrogation room to confront Tufan with the camera footage. Tufan gets nervous and asks for a lawyer,